Hello, we are your hosts, Ruth and
Zylia!
Okay, so today we are going to talk about Chinese orchestra.
Oh my god, speaking of Chinese orchestra, Ruth, what is your favorite Katy Perry song?
My favorite Katy Perry song. Okay, there are quite a few to choose from. I kind of like Hot and Cold. I kind of like what's that? Fireworks. And what's the other one? Raw. Oh
No, wait, did you just say Raw?
Yeah, I said Raw.
Oh my god. Guess what?
What?
The other day, right, I was on YouTube and I discovered this cover of Raw by Katy Perry, but they were performed by Chinese National Orchestra in Beijing.
No way! Like actually by a Chinese orchestra.
Yeah, they even performed in front of Katy Perry herself. Have a listen.
Oh my gosh, that sounded so grand. Like I could literally hear Katy Perry right in my mind.
Right, I loved it so much, bro. Like, who knew the Chinese orchestra could be so versatile? I really always thought that they only played like old traditional Chinese songs because of their old history.
Right, I never would have thought that they would play like pop songs too. That's so crazy. It's so versatile.
Speaking of history, do you know that the history of ancient Chinese orchestra actually dated back to 7,000 years ago?
What? No way. That far back?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's so insane. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine how people were like 7,000 years ago. Where did they even find all these musical instruments from back then?
Who knows?
Well, other than ancient Chinese orchestra, so now we have all these modernizations, right? So now we have modern Chinese orchestra dating back to the early 20th century in the 1920s, which include Western instruments like the cello.
Honestly, I think the musical history of music instruments are really so interesting, and we should just add them into our studying curriculum in school.
Real, I would love to learn how to play like a traditional instrument too. That
Yeah.
sounds so cool.
Me too.
Right, so now since they've modernized Chinese orchestra and kind of added more Western elements into it, so maybe we can look into some songs that modern Chinese orchestras have covered, like more recent pop songs.
So, on to our first song. Can you guess what song it is? Okay, so now let's talk about the instruments in the Chinese orchestra. Chinese orchestra is split into 4 different sections. We have percussion, wind, bows, and string instruments.
Ooh, we should delve deeper into the instruments in each section too. So for percussion, it's obviously consists of the Chinese drums like the 大鼓 and the 花盆鼓. The 大鼓 meaning like the big drum and the 花盆鼓 meaning like a flower pot drum. So like this drum is kind of shaped like a flower pot. It's really cute. And so the size and the structure of the drums make different sounds and pitches. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's so cool. Not only that, there are also ridges along the rim of the drums that make a completely different sound.
Alright, and for the wind section, we have the dizi, which is a bamboo flute that existed for over 2,000 of years. It has 6 finger holes, it has a stop hole and a blow hole. So it's widely used in Chinese folk songs, opera and traditional music. Alright, so now that we have talked about all the instruments, we should talk about the conductor too. There is no way that an orchestra can exist without a conductor.
Definitely, we can't leave out the conductor because the conductor actually serves as the leader of the orchestra, providing direction and guidance to the musicians. Now, we have a very, very special guest with us today. His name is Li Xiaoming. Hi, Xiaoming!
Alright, so a quick introduction of Li Xiaoming. So since young, Xiaoming has always watched Chinese operas and listened to Chinese music because of his grandmother's influence.
And then, in primary and secondary school, he joined the Chinese orchestra and fell in love with it.
That's so romantic. And guess what his favorite instrument is? It was the erhu.
Ooh!
Yeah, so he participated in many performances in school and even joined competitions such as the Singapore Youth Festival, otherwise known as the SYF, and won silver out of it too.
Did you know that a talent scout from SNYCO was actually at one of his performances and invited him to audition?
Oh my, it's like those K-pop auditions too.
Yeah, right?
So did he pass?
Yes, he did pass the audition, and then afterwards he set his mind to pursue playing the Chinese orchestra as a profession.
That's so swag.